All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of 15 and 15. And without taking up too much time, I'm going to toss it over to our dear friend, Alberto. So take it away.
Thanks, Robin. And thanks so much to the collab for inviting me. Welcome to Let's Talk About Race. I'll just introduce myself really briefly. I think I've met all of you. I'm Alberto Ramos. I'm our CDO and Director of Diversity, Equity, and Social Justice. So really the goal of this session is to just explore practical strategies for building race consciousness and avoiding color blindness in the classroom. So I'm going to start by just sharing a little bit about my identity, and then I'm going to give everyone here an opportunity to share about theirs. I identify as bicultural, I identify as Latino, Cuban American, Hispanic. I also am comfortable with Latinx as well. I use he, him, elle pronouns, and I identify as a cisgender male. And now I wanted to give everyone here a chance to go ahead and introduce themselves. You can share as much or as little about your identity as you'd like. And we can, I think I'll go ahead and call on folks. That way people don't have to wait for the unmute. So Robin, if you could go first.
Sure. And if you prefer, you could probably also just write pass in the chat, or you could share in the chat if you prefer to do it that way. So I'm Robin. I identify as a white cisgendered woman. I identify as queer. I identify as a mother. And that's about it for what I can think of right now.
Thanks, Robin. Martha, you can go ahead.
I am Martha Burtis. I work here in the collab. I use she, her pronouns. I identify as cis and straight, and I am also Latinx, although I don't very often talk about that. I do have that as part of my heritage.
Thank you. Lourdes, you can go next.
Somebody speaking loudly in the hallway, so sorry if it's noisy. Lourdes Aviles, I identify as Puerto Rican, Latinx, Hispanic, cis, straight mother, scientist, visually disabled in some form. And, I can't think of any others. There's probably lots of others, but quick.
Thank you. Matthew, you can go ahead.
Hi all, I'm Matt Cheney. Today out of the grand soup of identity, I suppose I will pull out that I'm a lifelong New Hampshire native, a Plymouth native, really, with ancestry going back to the days when I was related to Dick Cheney, sadly, in the late 18th century. So this is a burden one must bear with my name. I suppose I identify as a queer cis male very much a white guy.
Thank you. For those just joining, we're just sharing our names and how we identify as much or as little as we'd like to share. Alyssa, you can go next.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Helms. I work in the library. I identify as a white cisgendered woman, queer, animal person, disabled. That's all I'm going to pull out of the identity suit for today.
Thank you. Amy, you can go ahead next.
Sure. Hi, I'm Amy Pascal. I work over in HHP. I identify as a cisgender, lesbian, white woman.
Thank you. Libby, you can go ahead next.
Hello, I'm Libby. I'm our COVID coordinator and a teacher lecturer. I identify as a white, cisgender, genderqueer, gay person, white, disabled. I think that's it.
Thanks so much. Gary, you can go ahead next.
Yeah, hi everybody. Gary Goodnow, he, him, cisgendered, white, old guy.
Thank you so much. Becky, you can go next.
Thanks. I'm Becky Noel. I identify as a straight, white, cis woman. And I have various ability things I've been thinking about more lately, but I'll stick with age. I think more and more about age as an identity structure.
Thanks, Becky. Genesis, you can go next. And I just wanted to let you know, all know that I invited Genesis as one of the social justice leaders here at the Diversity Center.
Hi, everyone. My name is Genesis Uribe. I'm a criminology student with a minor in pre-law. I go by she, her. I am Colombian American. And I've been making law school part of my identity because I'm currently in the process of applying. So it's a big part of me. But nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Genesis. Glad you're here. Barb, you can go ahead next.
Hi, my name is Barb. I work in the counseling center and I identify as white, cisgender, and old woman. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Barb. And Kristen, I believe you're the last one, if you'd like to share.
Late, but I'm Kristen Wixon. I work at the library. And what was that prompt?
Any way you'd like to identify it, as much or as little as you'd like.
Oh, great. Yeah. My pronouns are she, her. I also identify as a cisgendered woman. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you all so much for sharing. I know that we have such limited time, but I also wanted to do that because I wanted to normalize really sharing identities and asking other people the opportunity to share about their identities, giving people the option of how much or as how little they'd like to share. But I think it's a really great way to build particularly race consciousness and avoid color blindness, and also all the other ways that we don't want to marginalize people's identities. But particularly when we talk about race, I think that's a strategy one can use. So I said I was going to offer some really practical strategies for building race consciousness and avoiding color blindness in the classroom. That's one of them. I also wanted to share ways you can really honor and highlight dates that talk about racialized identities and incorporate them in the class. So Hispanic Heritage Month is actually starting next week on September 15th. And so I will go ahead and just share my screen. I'm just sharing the same document that you all will receive at the end of this. But I wanted to share some opportunities for you all to engage in Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations that we are doing at Plymouth State. On this document, you will see a link to some more information about Hispanic Heritage Month. And then on September 14th, this is really a student-focused opportunity, but anyone here is also welcome to attend. It's called Empower Hour. So one of our social justice leaders, Precious Rodriguez, will be talking about the identity of Latinidad, what it is. And that's going to be an incredible opportunity. It's in person at the Diversity Center from 5 to 6 p.m. on September 14th. And then on September 15th, we are going to be doing a film screening of the movie Dolores, about Dolores Huerta, an incredible social justice leader and advocate, Latina woman. And then Genesis is actually here, and she's going to be leading a program on sort of in the invisibility of Latinos. Genesis, would you want to just share for like 15 seconds a little bit about what you're thinking for your program on the 28th?
Yeah, of course, Alberto. So essentially, I want to highlight the beauty behind many of Latino people that have been overlooked by history and society oftentimes, simply due to the fact that they're Latino and that they're not highlighted in history. A good example of that would be Manuel Patarroyos. He actually donated the malaria vaccine that he created just to humanity. And that's the kind of kindness and the kind of people that I really want to highlight during this session.
Thanks so much, Genesis. So again, that Empower Hour is every other Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. at the Diversity Center. We also will provide food and snacks. Any faculty and staff are welcome to come as well. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight, we're going to watch a really brief video here about our keynote speaker for Hispanic Heritage Month, which is going to be on Friday, September 30th from 5:30 to 7.
You should have seen me in the beginning, right? I had my camera out, I was photographing these landscapes and terrains and regions that I had never seen before. These tall trees with these white flowers blooming all around us. And 50 kilometers in, Felipe stops me and he points to the ground, and there's this bright green palm, and on the palm are 3 frogs, a yellow frog, a blue frog, and a pink frog. And he goes, Saul, whatever you do, don't touch those. Those are poison dart frogs and they can kill you.
So our speaker this morning is the brilliant Saul Flores. Saul is a philanthropist, photojournalist, and speaker who is nationally recognized for his social impact projects. Through his most recent project, Saul documents the amazing lives of thousands of Latin American immigrants to fundraise for an elementary school in his mother's hometown. So please join me in welcoming Saul Flores.
And that's when it hit me. What's so miraculous about this journey that immigrants make north isn't necessarily the journey itself. It's these paralyzing conditions that they put themselves through, where they depend just on prayer to make it out alive.
In some ways, I expected this to happen, but in other ways, I was really surprised by how emotional I got, actually.
And my mom would come back into our room, and she would gently wake up me and my little sister. And as soon as me and my sister felt my mom, we jumped out of the bed. We ran to the bathroom, we grabbed our toothbrush, we started brushing our teeth, combing our hair, and we would start getting ready because we were gonna go to work with my mom.
Being engaged in service and advocacy and action really brings tons of different students to the forefront, you know? So it's not only geographic and experiential diversity, but also students who care about all the different kinds of issues.
And my mom, she's so precious, man. Like, my mom would do anything possible just to make sure that me and my sister were having a good time.
So I just wanted to share that with you all as an opportunity to really engage in these conversations with students. It's a great opportunity to invite students to. So this is going to be happening at the Newfound Room in Prospect Dining Hall from 5:30 to 7. Any student, whether they have a meal plan or not, can get in for free. And there's going to be, I think, a $5 voucher for faculty and staff, which is about half the price I think that dinner normally costs. So just encourage you all to consider attending and inviting your students to attend as well. And then below that, I just wanted to highlight a few resources that I've found really helpful. Latinx authors. There's also a TED Talk from America Ferrera on how she talks about her identity as her superpower, not an obstacle. And then last, I wanted to also offer that anyone can request a diversity education session with me or someone from the Center for Diversity, where we could talk about race. We could do a racial healing circle. A few of the folks here have participated in those with me before, or we could even do an anti-racism training or really talk about what is anti-racism. So those are a few of the opportunities you all can engage in for Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to be doing more of them throughout the year for Native American Heritage Month, Black History Month, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So I know we're just about out of time. I really thank you all so much for joining today and hope to see you all at several of these programs.
Quick question before we end. What's the best, and I know you're still building this, but what's the best go-to spot when we want to find out what to tell our students and where things are happening? Is it the SharePoint or where will it be?
Excellent question. So I'm posting the SharePoint in the site, but all the information about events and diversity education sessions is on the Center for Diversity, Equity, and Social Justice SharePoint site.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you all for coming. I was also thinking as you were doing this that this kind of 15-minute thing, even when we don't have 15 and 15, would probably be great at the end of at the beginning of any big month that you're kicking off. So we can just kind of give people the lay of the land, because that was a helpful little preview. So I will stick around if anyone needs anything, but thanks for coming, and we'll be back here tomorrow. Bye.
Robin.
Bye.